The only acceptable Christmas song is Weird Al Yankovic's Christmas at Ground Zero. That's right, Mariah Carey fans. Fight me. Alright, so what am I playing? So first off, Alan Wake 2. I finished it. So yeah, I put in some time this last weekend to polish Alan Wake 2 off. I really, really enjoyed it. I kind of wish that I would have finished it during Spooktober. You know, it kind of sucks that I finished it like just after Spooktober ended. But whatever. I guess my final thoughts on it, since I finished it, I would say that, generally speaking, I really enjoyed it. I felt that the ending was a little bit unsatisfying. You know, they had this nice little tidy way that they finished up the story, tying up most of the loose threads from the rest of the series. And then in a post-credit scene, they just kind of revealed that, hey, none of that really happened. or it did, but, like, it didn't matter. Which was a little bit unsatisfying. I know that they're doing that to set up for, more sequels. And I know that this is the new, Alan Wake / Control extended universe that Remedy is trying to weave together. And I respect that, but I don't know. It still kind of felt it felt bullshit the way that it ended. To be perfectly honest, it was. This is why I'm saying it wasn't very satisfying. I don't want to get too spoilery because I kind of want people to play it for themselves if they're interested. But I'll just leave it at that. I was disappointed. I was unsatisfied with the ending. I still really enjoyed it. I'm very much looking forward to the next games, but yeah, I don't know. It wasn't a very satisfying ending. Other than that, I had a lot of fun. It was a blast. I really enjoyed it. Graphically, it's incredibly impressive. Incredibly demanding of your system. I've got my PC. I played this on PC, and my PC it's a pretty beefy PC. That has a graphic card that's really only one iteration behind the current top of the line, and it was struggling. Like, I could run it at. I really wanted to have a smooth, like, high frame rate performance. I think I was running it at like 90 frames per second. I think that's where I was settled in for like how I wanted to do it. But in order to achieve that, I really did have to go down into either the performance or the ultra performance. If things got hectic, I'd go into ultra performance because in performance, there would be an awful lot of motion blur to try to cover the dropped frames, and I just didn't like that. So, I guess what I'm saying is that if you don't have a really beefy PC with the latest greatest graphic processor, maybe pick it up on a console, because they finally tune it for the consoles, and you kind of go into it expecting it to have a certain kind of performance that, if you're playing on PC, just isn't as acceptable. So yeah, it's a crazy graphically intensive game. As far as the gameplay is concerned, I mentioned before that it had a little bit of a walking simulator vibe to it, and it certainly does. I will say that the latter third of the game really ramps up the action, and I think that a lot of the people who tried it out and kind of bounced off of it, I think if they could make it to that third act, it's not really an act, but if they could make it to that third section of the game where it really picks up, I think they'd really like it more, because it does. It gets really intense. But I also understand what they were going for. They were certainly trying to do something that was more cinematic. and the pacing was much more cinematic than previous titles. Hence the walking simulator vibe, because there's a lot of big action movies. They might have a little bit of action at the beginning, but then there's a lot of plot development that happens, and you really don't get to the big action set pieces until like the latter third of the movie. And that is undeniably what they tried to do here. It's like really obvious that that's what they were going for. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and I do recommend it if you're jonesing for a survival horror game and you are wanting something to check out that is arguably really mainstream. So if you don't know about it, what rock have you been hiding under? Definitely give it a try. I wouldn't say it's necessarily for everybody. You might not get into it as much as I did, but I still think that there's a lot here to like. I really did enjoy the game. Yeah, Alan Wake 2. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure I'd say that it would be Game of the Year. I know that there's some people talking about, hey, it should be Game of the Year. I'm not sure I'd agree with that. It's good. It's definitely one of the best games to come out in the year, but I'm not sure I'd put it at Game of the Year. I mean, Game of the Year is bullshit anyway, but if I were to do a Game of the Year list, I wouldn't put it as my Game of the Year. Partially because a lot of the games that I played this year are games that came out in previous years. I will say this, though. If I were to pick my favorite game from Spooktober, it would probably be Signalis, with Alan Wake 2 coming in a very close second. Alan Wake 2 was great, don't get me wrong, but realistically, the one that I really, really loved this year was Signalis. But anyway, Alan Wake 2. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Alright, next up, I played Dark Souls Remastered. Again, I'm playing this with my friends. I don't really know where we are. Let's see. It was Friday that we played. At the time of this recording, it is currently Monday. And I can't exactly remember what we did last. I think we finished up the Duke's Archives. I think. And really, what was very strange about it is, I think every single time I played the game in the past, cooperatively, whenever we hit Duke's Archives, that's when we start seeing all the invaders. We didn't have a single invader the entire time. It was kind of insane. But we did finish up the Duke's Archives, and you know what? I think we're at the end of the game. We are. We have nothing left to do except for the DLC, which, I don't know. I'm not in the mood for the DLC. The DLC is fine. It's a good DLC. I'm not going to besmirch it, but I don't know. It's not... Tacking on the DLC makes the game feel not as tight, in my opinion. So I do tend to skip the DLC when I replay Dark Souls 1. The other thing we haven't done is we haven't done the Painted World of Ariamis, which I think that's where we left off. I think we did decide we wanted to go back and do the Painted World of Ariamis before going and fighting Gwyn and beating the game. I think that's where we left off. But don't quote me on that, because I don't remember, because, it's been a weekend. Wait, no, it wasn't Friday that we played. It was Tuesday. Or Wednesday. It was Wednesday. It was the day before Thanksgiving that we played. So, yeah, it's been like 5 days. I don't remember what the hell we were doing. But we had a lot of fun, and I really love Dark Souls. It's a great game. We're playing it on PC. I don't know if I mentioned that. But even though we're playing on PC, I do own it everywhere. I have it physically for multiple platforms, both the remastered and the original. But yeah, no, Dark Souls Remastered is a hell of a lot of fun. It's a great game. So much fun. So fun to play with friends. All right. What's the next game? Well, the next game I'm playing is Death Must Die. Playing it on PC, playing it on Steam, also playing it on my Steam Deck. So I think I mentioned Death Must Die last week. I think I did. But it's a new roguelite Vampire Survivors clone that has come out recently. I think it's in early access. I don't think it's complete. I think it's in early access. I could be wrong. I'm not sure I really say what the vibe is. I think I mentioned last time that it has some things that are definitely inspired by Souls games. You've got the ability to dodge, and you've got this encouragement to, not only aim your attacks, but time your attacks, because attacking slows you down. You don't want to be auto-attacking the entire time. But I am enjoying it. I think the one problem I have with it, and I probably also mentioned this last time, is I think that the dialogue is a little stupid. The dialogue has it's like a whole lot of like text speak, like LOLs and emoji and lowercase u when you were really saying you as in you the person. A lot of little stupid shit like that doesn't really fit tonally with the rest of the game, but whatever. But I am enjoying it. I will say that I think that it might be a little bit hard. It's a little bit on the difficult side compared to the other ones. Maybe difficult's not the right term. It's a little bit on the... It's a little bit slower on the whole, doling out upgrades to allow you to make it further in the game. Something like Vampire Survivors really does have a great pacing in how it slowly doles out new weapons and new characters and new abilities that you can unlock and new traits and stuff that you can go in and purchase. And it feels like it has this really nice curve, power curve, where your first few hours in the game you're just really struggling. You're probably not even going to beat the first level, but then over time you get to this godlike state where you can just come in and plow through everything. And Death Must Die, it has a much more gradual curve. I mean, I've probably put in, I don't know, probably 20, 30 hours into it at this point, and I still haven't beaten like the third boss. So if I bounce off Death Must Die, that's probably going to be the reason why, because it's a little bit slow in doling out its upgrades and doling out its new abilities. But I'm enjoying it, and it's a lot of fun, and I do recommend it. If you're looking for another Vampire Survivors clone, and maybe you've beaten all the other really good ones, you're just jonesing for something new, yeah, you could do a lot worse than Death Must Die. It's pretty fun. All right, so the next one that's new, this is one, I don't know if this is something that just recently came out. I think it might have just launched into early access. But it was something that I had seen like some previews of it before, and I was like, oh man, that looks fun. Anyway, it is Rogue Genesia. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Rogue Genesia. So this is another Vampire Survivors clone. I know. I kind of have a thing for Vampire Survivors clones. This one is a little bit different because it kind of mixes Slay the Spire level progression with Vampire Survivors. I mean, it's definitely Vampire Survivors. You have the minute-by-minute gameplay where you're just auto-attacking and trying to move your character to avoid attacks while at the same time killing enemies and mowing them down and getting experience. But outside of that, it has this branching path towards a boss that you take. And it has things like chests, treasure chests along the way, and shops where you can buy things, and random battles, and battles with enemies, and battles with like mini bosses, and then the little question marks where you don't really know what it is. It could be an event, it could be a random event, or it could just be a shop, or it could be an enemy. You don't know what it is. The point is that it kind of gives it a very different vibe than the traditional Vampire Survivors. Traditional Vampire Survivors is all about that power progression, where you plop yourself down in an area and you start out fairly weak, but then you very quickly start getting more abilities, and you get to this point where you're just kind of like plowing through everything, and your games are like 30 minutes long. This one is more compact. You'll have something where it's like, oh, you go into an area and you have to defeat 200 enemies, Or, oh, you go into an enemy area and you have to defeat like 5 elites. And then once you're done with that, you move on to the next area. So each area is like maybe 5 minutes tops. But they're strung together, like I said, with this Slay the Spire progression. And it's really fun. I'm really, really enjoying it. Its characters, it has multiple characters, of course, and some of its characters play quite differently. I just recently unlocked the Gunslinger, and the unique thing about the Gunslinger is that he only has his pistols, and he can't get any other weapons. I mean, he can upgrade his pistols to other types of guns as he goes along, but he will always only ever have the one weapon being some form of a firearm. And that's a very strange vibe compared to like other Vampire Survivors games. And but yeah, no, I'm having a lot of fun. Weirdly enough, Rogue Genesia is also something that taxes my PC. I don't know if it's just poorly optimized or what it is, but yeah, my graphic card, the fan on the graphic card is just always in overdrive whenever I play Rogue Genesia. And I don't know what it is. It doesn't seem like it should be, pushing my system as hard as it is. I haven't tried on the Steam Deck. I should try it on the Steam Deck, see how the Steam Deck does. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. Rogue Genesia is a fun game. And if you're looking for another Vampire Survivors clone, and Death Must Die is not the one that you're interested in, well, then check out Rogue Genesia. I would honestly say between the two, I'm enjoying Rogue Genesia more than Death Must Die. I think Rogue Genesia might have more of a longevity for me than Death Must Die. Who knows? Maybe Death Must Die will suddenly surprise me and I'll get really into it. But for now, I am really loving Rogue Genesia. It's a good game. All right, so the last game that I'm playing this week, Slipstream. Playing it on Steam, also playing it on my Steam Deck. So Slipstream is something I just purchased. It was part of the Steam Autumn Sale, which I think when this video goes up, the sale will be over. So sorry, I'm not very fast at editing videos. But I picked it up on sale, and I really love it. Slipstream is an arcade racer, definitely inspired by things like Outrun. I mean, pretty much inspired by Outrun. There was that other Sega rally game that came out later that just definitely has some of the elements to it, but it's mostly an Outrun-like game. The thing is, you've got these modern, what do they call it, vaporwave videos where they have like this chill music with like 80s aesthetic playing. You'll find them on YouTube all over the place. I have to be honest, I've never really watched them. I know of them, but I've never really watched them. My daughter has watched them, but I don't know, I'm 50. Those things don't really appeal to me. But I will say this, all of those videos were inspired by Outrun. The original Outrun arcade, because it had that vibe. And Slipstream is 100% leaning into that vibe. It is very much a vaporwave game. It's got the synth tracks with bright, vibrant 80s color schemes and Outrun gameplay, and oh man, it is really fun. It's the sort of thing where, especially if you grew up in the 80s, and you remember playing Outrun in the arcade, this thing is just going to tickle that part of your brain that remembers the Outrun arcade experience. It is really fun. I'm having a lot of fun. Very much enjoying it. I don't know if I've got anything else to say about it. I mean, it's beautiful. I've probably got video showing it right now. And it's fun. I enjoy it. It's a blast. Slipstream. Great fun. It's on Steam. You know, it's funny, I just realized every single game that's on my list is a game that I am playing digitally on PC. So this week was 100% PC-only games. That doesn't seem right. That seems weird. That certainly doesn't happen too often. I mean, part of the reason that I play so many games is that I like to have a game going on not all of my consoles that are hooked up, but on many of the consoles that I have hooked up. And it's just strange that I'm not playing anything on any of the other systems right now. I don't know. I think it's because after I finished Daymare on the PlayStation 5, I wanted to put so much effort into finishing Alan Wake 2. And so I think I've only been on PC this last week because I wanted to finish Alan Wake 2. But now that I'm done with it, I've got no reason not to go to another platform. So who knows? You'll have to wait and see. Ooh, you know what? I might play this. So Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. This is a limited edition game, physical edition of the game, the special physical edition that came out for the Switch. It just got here last week. And I haven't played it. I have opened it, but I haven't played it yet. Maybe this will be the one I'll play next. Who knows? Anyway, that's it. I bonked the thing that's holding the camera. Anyway, that's it. I got nothing else. See ya.